Mari McInerney from Croaky here at the Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander Suicide Prevention Conference in Perth, and I'm here with a couple of people from the top end. If we could start with you, Doreen, would you mind introducing yourself and where you're from, please?
Yes, my name is Doreen Unghango. I'm a Queenie Bila Amangari woman. That's my clan, my language, and that's my skin group.
Thank you. And where are you from? Where do you live?
I'm from Clare community, a remote. That's northeast of, way up north in the Kimberleys, just not far from Wyndham and Kununurra. And I've lived there all my life, and just 2 weeks ago I've been just elected a chairwoman.
And you're the first woman?
And I'm the first woman.
Now, and you're the chairwoman of what? What's the name of the body there?
Clare Aboriginal Corporation.
And was that quite a struggle to become elected the chair?
Yes, it was. I've sat on director before for about 11 years. And that was a long journey for me to make it to where I wanted to be.
And why did you want to be chair, and what do you hope to do in that role?
Well, because I want to help my people there, my women, my children, to make it a good community for them to live in, and the environment around there, so they can live a healthy life, and take some women out camping as well. So some of the women go through struggle of trauma too as well, but they can't show it, they don't show it much in our community. You gotta be with them, to sit with them and listen to them.
What do you think that a woman as chair can bring that's important at this point to your community?
Well, I can bring hopes and dreams for my children and my community and my women's. That's what they want. And be strong in our community.
Fantastic. Well, congratulations. I'm just going to pan out so Clare's there too. Clare, could you explain what your role has been?
Sure. So my name's Clare Wood, and I'm part of the Telling Story project team, I should say, with Sudha Coutinho and Doreen Unghango.
And you've been working together then on this project. Can you describe what you've been doing? Perhaps, Doreen, can you tell from your perspective of what the project has been doing and what you were presenting about today?
Well, Clare and I knew each other for a very long time. But we worked together about telling stories. He knew what to do, getting stories from other women as well. But some of the stories that he recorded is some sad stories, some good stories. But the mainest one was my dad. My dad. But today we didn't present that story because it probably bring people to tears.
Can you talk about it at all now, or you prefer not?
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll leave it to Clare to talk.
You sure?
Yeah. It's okay.
So I guess that's how the project started, was recording Doreen's dad's story, who witnessed a massacre when he was a very small child. It's known as the Forest River Massacre. And it was after that was recorded, it gives really, from what Doreen's told me, knowing that story gives her the strength to make sure that children are not removed from their parents now. And so that's why she wants hopes and dreams for her kids. And it was around the hopes and dreams that we then collaborated with Sudha to have a project that not only responded to trauma and hard things in the past, but also really looked forward to what people wanted for their community, for their families, for themselves. Yeah.
And your father, he was taken away then from the community, was he?
Yes, my father was one of the stolen generation, but my grandmother was a stolen generation. So my dad was left at Forest River. There he grew up when he was only 5 years old, but he knows very well for a 95-year-old dad I have. Now he knows the story way back. He grew up with other families from there, and he started learning how to do hunting, fishing, going out with other people. From there he moved on. He wanted to look for a job. Then his journey was on to Clare. That's where he found my mother.
That's where he built a new family.
And he built a new family there.
And that your thing is to find strength in family for young people and old.
Yep, strength and family and old, yeah.
And the project then has spoken to, when it's called Telling Stories, what stories are you telling then?
Well, I guess it depends on what stories people want to be told. It's very much about what the storyteller at the end of the workshop would like to share, and if they want to share that either through writing or audio or video. So all the control of that story is with the storyteller. So we can record a story and no one can ever see it if that's what they choose to, or they can be shared more widely. Yeah. So it's always surprising. We don't know what stories people are going to share with us, and they're kind of they're created, I guess, together as the process, from the way you ask questions and really seeking rather than the effects and the impacts of trauma, really how people have responded and what's got them through hard times. Yeah.
And Doreen, what effect do you find that this project has had, both for the people who tell their stories and also for the people who get to see them?
Well, the people tell their story because they want to be heard, because sometimes when you have those stories inside of you and you have it for so much long, you can't tell to anyone. But it's if there's a family member there, or if someone's there, they come and they'll tell their story over and over and over. I mean, it's part of that healing in those stories too, because that's where you tell someone your story. I'm glad I met up with Clare, because she took my dad's story, because my dad tells their story over and over. Talks about the massacre, talks about his life journey, about a young boy traveling through, and how he worked as a stockman, and now he's in Clare, where I look after him.
And it helps him to tell his story.
Yep, it helps him to tell that story and to share that story, and tell everyone that to know that there's a story behind what he was.
Thank you very much.